Howdy folks. Today I want to talk about the Tanchjim Tanyas. These are a 7mm dynamic driver set. They are $22. They have no removable cable. Here are the bore tips. Hey. The build quality is pretty good for $22. Maybe not the best in the universe. I believe it's it could be like a little aluminum something over here, but plastic build quality basically. Strain leaf is pretty pathetic on the cable. I will break this cable, there's no doubt. It comes with a remote, which has one button and a microphone, so that Android, you could play, pause, stop stuff on there. This will work with a phone. You can just use them as a headset for phone calls. In terms of the fit is like amazing. Anybody should be able to fit these, and I mean anyone. Girls, small ears, they just disappear in the ear. They're tiny. Like if I, here's my thumbnail, right? Let's see. Come on, thumb. Derp. I don't know if that helps, but anyways, you're not gonna ever have a problem putting tips on this or fitting it or anything like that. You could argue about the cable, whatever. For 22 bucks, well, maybe I'll do something like an MMCX mod on this guy here if it's possible, but I really wouldn't be very sad if I had to buy another pair after I broke the cable. And also what's interesting is, I didn't bring all the crap that came with, but this little guy right here is a Tanchjim filter, which you will also find an identical type on the Tanchjim Oxygens, which are a $275 dynamic driver set. Super interesting. And as it turns out, these little filter guys, so this comes with like a pack of maybe like 10 replacements, 10 duals, so 20. But you can take these little filters and stick them on anything you want. And I in fact did that on the Blon 03s, and they do change the tuning. We won't go over that in this video, but interesting and really cool. Those little filters are super nice to be able to tune other sets that you might want to have slightly differently. Any case, they come with some really nice tips and all, and no problems with that. So let's go to the, let's see, what do we have? That is the graph for the Tanchjim Tanyas, and what we see here is, let me see if I can stick my cursor on here. We have a, let's see, 2K, 3K. So that's like, we'll just call this a 3K peak, a little more reserved from a 2.5K peak. And then they do the sort of diffuse tuning, etymodic style. It comes down and down and down and down and down, and then we're down. Right here, 1K, relatively flat in the mids to mid bass, and a nice fat rise up here. And in fact, some roll off. What is this, about 40 hertz going, a little bit of roll off here, maybe like 3 decibels at 20 hertz. So overall, I bought this set because of this graph, actually. This is the type of graph that my ears like more than other types. And if you go to the product page, $4 apparently. I guess maybe I got them on sale. 7mm. If you look at the sensitivity, that, I don't know what the hell that means. Probably nothing. 6 ohm. Basically, I'm trying to get to the point where these take a lot of power. Now, I plugged these into my LG G8X phone, and I could basically max it out, which is like, holy shit. And in fact, they do better with bigger devices. So there's a little bit of a double-edged sword here. It's kind of like they would be like the best portable set, just take them, throw them in your pocket, use them whenever, except that like an LG G8X is probably one of the larger output phones, like the higher, actual output for headphones. And out of your average like Samsung, it's probably not going to do it's not going to be very good with these. So maybe like a dongle or a decent phone. And then, I plugged them into a Burson Playmate 2. It's a gigantic Class A. And I can get that thing up to like 60 to 70 out of 100 on the volume, which is like, holy crap, loud. Now, yes, they are loud. And yes, at that point, my ears might start ringing after, 15 minutes. But you get the goods. The volume scaling on these is very similar to the EJ07. It's fantastic. You turn them up more, and they sound better and better and better and better. Cool. All right, let me find my graph, which I've got here somewhere. I just got to figure out where it is. Hang on, let me find it. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I found it. And let's flip over to that. All right, here. Tanchjim, Tanya on top. Keep wanting to say oxygen. 22. Oh, that's how much I paid. Or 24. Anyway, exceptional factor. These are right. The tuning that I love, the form factor I love, the price I love. We'll go over, the goods and bad points of this, but I believe, and other folks that I kind of hyped these to because of the graph got them, and I want to say that like most of those people found them to be quite exceptional as well. Took maybe a few days of trying them. I heard in some, and by the way, burn-in might actually work on these a little bit. It's got one dynamic driver, and I'd swear after, I don't know, a couple hours of listening to them, I felt like the treble came up a little bit, and they sounded a little more coherent. Not that they're not coherent, just like, a little better. Okay, 8.5 out of 10. And for a $22 set, that's freaking amazing for me, anyways, in my own mind. And would I buy another pair? Yeah, I will. I'm probably going to buy like 6 or 7 of these and just give them out to people, have an extra set, throw some in my backpack so I got an extra for in case I forget something, that kind of thing. Accuracy, 8 out of 10. I believe these sound very, very, very close to studio monitors. That is to say, if you were sitting in front of a studio setup, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet back, they're going to sound pretty damn similar, in fact. You get a very, very good amount of 3D, which if you come over here to my 3D, we have a 9 out of 10, which is like, holy shit. But I swear, you listen to these and you're going to hear stuff up, down, behind you, sides. It feels like you're in a room. It doesn't feel like you're listening to headphones after a while. So that's just like, shit, man, that's awesome. Accuracy, 8 out of 10. Wideness, they don't really give you like a top of the line tuning wideness type of thing where it's sort of that like overt thing, but they're good enough, and we'll call it a 7 to 10. Plenty good. 3D is a 9, and very special in that respect for me. Imaging, 7 out of 10. It's decent, average, good. Nothing special. I'm not going to knock your socks off like some of the crazy electrostatic drivers, many balanced armature sets, not like that, but decent, pretty good. Volume scaling, 9 out of 10. These just amazing. You can turn these things up to blow your brains out levels, and they just sound better and better. I will say that the bass, that 7mm dynamic driver can't really deal with a tremendous amount of bass, but it doesn't falter. You don't really hear distortion, but it just doesn't slam up maybe as high as you might want. Certainly not a bass headset. In fact, if I compared these to the Blons, which I have because I, in my mind, wanted these to, replace the Blons. I wanted something that might replace the Blons for me. And at first listen, I was like, well, maybe not. But as I've been listening, they do, in fact, they've grown on me tremendously to the point where I would pick these over the Blon 10 out of 10 times. Unless maybe I was just bass heading that day, in which case the Blon would take it. But 7 out of 10 in bass, quite good. They have sub bass slam. They're probably more mid bass than sub bass for sure, but it doesn't come across as being like an MH, like the Sony MH7. What is it, 755? Those do sound bloaty in the bass, and this doesn't really have that effect, so I like it better. Moving on, mids are going to be another 9 out of 10. Like just vocals are just incredible, and the mids on these sound as good as the best sets I've ever heard. I was thinking to myself, man, if somebody did a set with this 7mm dynamic driver and maybe some other stuff, maybe, I don't know, electrostatic in the treble, some kind of thing for that sub bass slam, then they would be like amazingly like top. Anyway, mids, 9 out of 10. As good, almost as good as you're ever going to get in anything. Detail and treble, we're going to call it a 7. I almost rated that a little lower, but you just turn the volume up and you're going to get the goods. Like I said, volume scaling. These are designed to be turned up loud, and you will, in fact, hear nice treble when you turn them up. Plenty of nice detail. I wouldn't say OCD type details, but natural speaker-like detail. And the same thing with resolution. 7 out of 10. Nothing special, nothing bad. At lower levels, though, both of those metrics might feel a little high to you, but turn it up and you'll get it. Pressure buildup, none. 2 out of add an extra 2. Isolation, not too good. These don't fill up your ears very well. But I could use 3 flange tips and shove them way the hell in there, and they're okay. So 3 out of 5. Binaural sounds really good on these. Maybe not the best I've ever heard, like Etymotic, but it's up there. 4 out of 10, or sorry, 4 out of 5. Badass price, badass set, badass everything with these. So would I recommend these? Hell yes. Buy these. If you buy these, you might get a good idea of what I really like in mids. I'm not saying that they're going to be the best thing you ever heard, but I think that they hit a nice sweet spot in terms of price and performance that not any other set has hit for me. And man, you know, how can you complain about this? Like, everybody should be able to use this. Just depends whether you're going to like it, but everybody should be able to use it, no problem. So, Blon beater, they wouldn't replace them, but I'd pick these over the Blonds most of the time for my own personal listening, and highly recommended. Highly get a pair of these, and you'll hear what good mids should sound like, in my opinion. Right on, folks. Have a good one. Bye.